game up, they make a thirst-quenching adult beverage with a special blend of electrolytes. Comes in 4 great flavors: fruit punch, lemon, lime, orange, and grape.
Hey, only 110 calories, low carb. Enjoy yourself some Game Up. Let's revisit UFC Fight Night, Derns versus Ribas 2. I did not get to watch any of this, but by everything I heard, pretty good Fight Night card overall. I saw a lot of finishes. Before we get to main event, anything you want to talk about from this fight night?
First of all, I was just really glad that the UFC was back and got to watch fights. I had something to look forward to on a Saturday night, so it was great. And yes, the card was pretty good as well. Christian Rodriguez, C-Rod, stopped another young hype train in Austin Bashi, who was on the Contender Series. He's a 23 years old phenom prospect. Christian Rodriguez did what he does and stopped the hype train, though. Chris Curtis and Roman Kopylov had a very good fight, but Chris Curtis got kicked in the head and knocked down, and Kopylov tried to walk off, and Curtis looked like he was about to get up, and the ref stopped it with 1 second left. It was a very close fight, so if it had gone to the judges, I'm not sure exactly how it would have went. I probably was leaning toward Kopylov, but he was very upset. He was screaming at the ref, had to be restrained, but he did get kicked in the face and would have been finished if Kopylov had gone after him, for sure. But, it's always Chris Curtis. There's always some controversy. It always seems to be happening to him. I feel bad for the guy. Don't get kicked in the head,
Part of that team.
Yeah.
That team is,
Co-main event.
Yeah.
Pontzinibbio. He TKO'd Carlston Harris. I thought Harris was going to win. But no, Pontzinibbio still had it. He looked pretty good. He clipped Carlston Harris bad. Round 3 TKO. Oh, you know what? I skipped over. I can't remember the guy's name. I think it's Cesar Almeida, I believe. He fought Abdul Razak Alhassan. I just butchered that name. But that was I'm sure people that listen to this podcast have seen the TKO online. It's everywhere. It was absolutely brutal TKO.
Oh.
I know it was the first fight card of the year, but it is a knockout of the year contender for sure.
KO punch round 1. Cesar Almeida, huh?
Yeah, he caught him right on the chin. He was getting beat up and backed into a cage. It was kind of like that Pat Barry knockout.
Oh yeah.
He was coming forward and looked like he was going to get the finish, and instead he got clipped and KO'd. It was bad. But shout out to Cesar Almeida.
Pontzinibbio, too, by the way. Good for him for, keep going to UFC at this level. I hope he gets a decent fight next. I know he doesn't have much time probably left in his UFC career, so I hope he gets I was actually thinking a fun fight might be the winner, and it'd be a step back for whoever wins this fight between Shara Bullet and MVP, because I just think that'll be a fun fight, and since both those guys, they're strikers, and you want to look favorable matchups, I think a guy like Pontzinibbio is probably a favorite matchup for either one of those guys.
Well, they fight at middleweight, though, I think, right? Aren't they?
I thought they were at the welterweight. You got me wondering now.
I know Kevin Holland fought at both, and
Kevin Holland has fought at middleweight and welterweight. So
yeah, I thought that was the reason why we weren't seeing the MVP versus Wonderboy thing.
You're right.
Because of the weight difference. So
you're right. Yeah,
who I want to see Pontzinibbio fight, and I think would be good, is if Nick Diaz is going to come back. I think that's actually a good fight for him.
That would be a great fight for him. Yeah, there you go.
The main event was very good. Mackenzie Dern working with Jason Perillo, looking much better on the feet, but ultimately gets it done where she is just the best in women's MMA on the ground with a round 3 armbar. Not a lot to say. She worked on the ground very hard. There were a few scrambles, but she just showed her vast skill and ended up locking onto an arm.
I'm curious to see what they'll do for her next for a fight. I was looking at the rankings, and the 2 people that are just right above her, she's just lost to recently.
Yeah, she said that.
Amanda Lemo. So I'm sure she'd like to fight either one of them again, especially if she's improving her striking. But if she's going to fight in draws, let's let her keep developing her striking. She might have to fight backwards a little bit. But hey, good for her for getting this victory and looking improved. I always like Mackenzie Dern.
Yeah, she said she was willing to fight back. She understood that she had just lost to the people above her, and Tatiana Suarez is set up for the title shot, and so she's not going to get to fight her, obviously. So she said she was fine. She knows, it's a long game, and she'll work her way up there. So.
And props to her, who, if she wasn't going to get fast-tracked to the title and she lost, I mean, I don't know if I would have predicted her having this long of a UFC career. She's really put into work.
Right. She could have went the Paige Van Zandt route, no disrespect to Paige. She took an easier route, you would say, going with the OnlyFans and going off to other organizations that obviously aren't the level of UFC. When you can make a lot of money other ways, why get punched in the face for a living? Not to be unfair to Paige, because she does still get in there and do slap fight, which is wild. And she's in the GFL, she's back to doing MMA, so she loves fighting. So I don't want to, put any shade on her, but Mackenzie's staying in the top level, really working, even though she could make money easily any number of other ways.
Absolutely. She wants to just be the best. So you gotta respect that.
And she's getting so much better between each fight too. Her improvement just shows how great of an athlete she is. I mean, we all know from her ground game, how dangerous she is, but her striking, the amount of improvement that happens in between fights is impressive, even with other world-class athletes.
She didn't have a long MMA career before getting into the UFC.
No. She had 4 fights or something.
Yeah, good for her.
If you haven't tried Game Up, then you are missing out. Imagine your favorite seltzer and your favorite sports drink had a baby, but it's way better than that. Each can is 110 calories, low carb, 4.9 ABV. It's a nice light drink that is not light on flavor. Game Up comes in fruit punch, orange, lemon, lime, and grape. Pick it up at drinkgameup.com or at your nearest liquor store.